You know, it's not too often that I make a video video about wrestling so soon after I've already made another one, and I'm gonna be probably releasing this sometime after I release the video of my rants on WWE's promotional tactics, but whatever. Um, now I wanted to talk about one thing in particular, and it's not exactly something that's been eating away at me, but it's just been something because I went back and looked at a match, a simple match, not a simple match, a particular match that John Cena versus Umaga, and mentally I was making a lot of comparisons to that feud and that match with the match that John Cena had with Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules. Now, my opinion on Brock Lesnar. I was the most apprehensive to him coming back as anyone because I thought that he would have no work ethic. I thought he wouldn't care less. He still doesn't care, but he has done nothing but work his damn hard. Every single time he steps into that ring, he puts 110% into what he does. If there's a bad match with Brock Lesnar, it's usually the other person's fault. Brock Lesnar puts his all into the match, any match he's doing. So I didn't have to worry about that. I'm all for him winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, if only because it opens so much more in the way of storytelling possibility for the company. Like, that one moment alone could establish him as the WWE's new Goldberg. Like, and they failed before, and Brian Alvarez, I think that's how you say his name, pretty much said it best. They fucked up so phenomenally when he initially came. This man who has legitimacy just oozing out of every orifice, talent like no one's business, freakishly strong, he's a freak of nature. The planets will never align like this again for you, and you fucked it up by having him lose on his first match. This might be his one chance of redemption, or at least as character-wise. This might be character-wise his one chance of redemption. As for yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to the comparison I was trying to make, and the difference between, because when you really start to think about it, there's a lot of parallels with Umaga and Brock Lesnar and how they're being promoted. Now, Umaga was, from in my perspective, the resident Goldberg of WWE for a while, the unstoppable force, and it was people were always questioning who was going to finally beat Umaga. Some people came close, some people failed miserably, some people we thought would be the definite ones to do it, but just couldn't pull it off. And John Cena was the first to do it, and it was a strong, triumphant thing. It was awesome to see him do it. The match, his Last Man Standing match, is one of John Cena's best matches, and I personally stand by that. It was one of John Cena's best matches, period. And it's also, in my personal opinion, one of the best Last Man Standing matches ever. Now, the difference between that and what happened with Brock Lesnar. Now, Brock Lesnar, to be fair, most people know who the fuck Brock Lesnar is. No one's gonna make any assumption or make any confusion with the guy. It's Brock Lesnar is he is a beast. He is dominating. He is just a unrelenting, unfeeling force of nature. And like he was being packaged as such when he came back in the business. Now, I can understand that you don't want to have Brock Lesnar overexposed. Having him in too many matches kind of diminishes the effect of the badass, because he's supposed to, as Paul Heyman kind of treated him as a last resort, someone who is so dangerous that he himself didn't want to have to unleash him on anyone whenever necessary. And it kind of helped with the gimmick, but at the same time, Umaga was built up by sheer amount of he had a huge body count before his first loss. I think he almost went a whole year without losing any matches. Like, he no-sold like crazy. He beat the flying fuck out of every single person who got into the ring with him. Even with John Cena, and they did the same thing, like the way that they kind of pat the match. Like, John Cena was the victim who, like, he was a victim of the match, and we were more worried about him surviving. And in the original match, and I looked back and looked at it, John Cena went into the match injured, like taped up ribs. And the first thing that happens, he tries to bounce some offense on Umaga. Umaga, he runs to the ropes. Umaga takes a huge pot shot, and Cena sells it like a champ. And he rolls out, and he's on the floor in pain. And he did the same thing for Brock Lesnar. But the problem is, Brock Lesnar got too much too soon. I'm not saying in terms of his career, because I think that kind of might go what I was saying with how his career started. He was a young talent who kind of got pushed too soon, but they pushed him well enough to where people didn't actually mind that, and he did have a fair amount of work ethic. And despite what Jim Cornette might say, it's just the only thing I disagree with Jim Cornette is that I think he was confusing enthusiasm with work ethic, and Brock Lesnar has work ethic. He just doesn't have the enthusiasm for professional wrestling anymore. But I digress. I keep doing this. I keep going a trail of thought and I forget my point. But Brock Lesnar came back. He immediately fused with John Cena. The first thing I would have done, and if I were booking this, because I want John Cena to be our Goldberg. No, sorry, I would want Brock Lesnar to be the Goldberg of this company. So what I would do, I would establish him, I would say maybe the first day he comes in, he did the FU on John Cena. John Cena comes out, he's pissed, like, the next week, he's pissy, he's angry, and then that's when he tries to slap Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar not only beats the crap out of him, and he puts him in the Kimura lock, breaks his arm, not necessarily legitimately, but the Kimura lock you can't do that. That is a move that can legitimately cripple someone, just in case some people didn't know. And almost breaks his arm, puts him out of commission for a while, and then we tout him as the man who broke John Cena. Like I would see not just his arm. I would say that he would have to lay down a physical beating so bad on his first night that John Cena couldn't appear the next day. He could not appear for a month or two. You put him on the back burner and maybe give him time to rest and relax, because we're working on building up Brock Lesnar right now, and to do that we need to make it seem as though you are as hurt as you can possibly seem. So put him in a cast, put him in something involving his leg, because an arm, in wrestling they kind of expect you to shake that off. A leg, you're not. Yeah, you sit the fuck down. So that's what I would start. Next, I would have Brock Lesnar. Okay, you would have to pick someone who would make sense going after Brock Lesnar. As someone who might have been outraged at Brock Lesnar, I would say maybe have Vince McMahon come out and try to condone Brock Lesnar for what he did. Or, not Vince McMahon, maybe John Laurinaitis. And it's not because John Laurinaitis, like, you want to stick with the heel persona, like, okay, you could somehow stretch and say that John Laurinaitis will be packaged like, okay, John Cena, he sees John Cena as a commodity that Lesnar has broken. And he tries to punish him once, and it fails miserably, and he immediately turns to Lesnar because he doesn't want to piss him off. Okay, and what I mean by punish him, he probably sends in a match with, sends in someone like Big Show to try to take him out in a regular match. Books it as, for tonight, you're going to wrestle the Great Khali, Big Show, someone that he can, just giant meat to be fed to him. he not only beats him, but he almost destroys him, just like he did John Cena. John Laurinaitis sees him for the commodity that he is, and he immediately turns around and compliments Brock Lesnar, and he acts like a kiss ass, because basically, at the time, we were trying to build John Laurinaitis as a heel, so that would have effectively done it, even though I think that man does not deserve to be in the business at all, but whatever. So, we have John Laurinaitis basically being the mouthpiece for Brock Lesnar, and that's not to say that Paul Heyman isn't better, because to say that would be to be struck down by the wrestling gods above. But still, that would give some idea and some direction, and he would probably try. It'll be a Weasley thing to do. It'll be promoting both the heel guy right now, and I think they will also be able to transition to an instant feud with CM Punk. And if WWE wanted to, they could build up John Cena returning. CM Punk, who does not like, he doesn't like how John Cena handles shit. And he will probably, but it's made it clear in the past, like the both of them in their promos and whatnot, despite their dislike of each other's style and the way they carry themselves, they both have a odd, kind of worthy adversary type rivalry. So I could imagine that CM Punk makes a pot shot at John Laurinaitis for being stupid or whatever, and Brock Lesnar, he sends 6 Brock Lesnar at him. CM Punk does his best against him. It could be a slight mini feud, and you can transition John Cena into that. Like, okay, say that he does something to CM Punk. The feud starts. It goes in the span of maybe 3 weeks, and John Cena would eventually come back into the feud, as Brock Lesnar has probably done. And you would have to get rid of CM Punk in a tasteful way. Just put him two on the sidelines as John Cena transitions back into the feud. And it will be an easy way by basically saying, John Cena and CM Punk, they have a history together. And John Cena, even though I don't respect CM Punk, but you beat up one of the best wrestlers I ever faced. You beat up one of the wrestlers I respect more than anyone else. I'm gonna make you pay for that. And then it's personal. Well, it's even more personal than it always is. It's not only just him getting beat up. It's about this man who clearly has no respect for the company and only cares about what he wants to do, going around beating up just random people and beating up someone that John Cena respects, and John Cena wants to teach him a lesson. So how would you go off on that? And this is the tricky part, because you would have to do this in a way that... I'm really thinking about this on the top of my head, by the way. You would have to think of a creative way to have John Cena put over Brock Lesnar, and it doesn't necessarily have to be him losing. Okay, good way to... You don't have to have John Cena lose. But, John Cena's thing is that he's a determinator. He never say die. Okay, well, what you can do with that? Have a match where John Cena... Brock Lesnar puts John Cena in the Kimura lock. And, they build up... Okay, you're going to have your build up to the next pay-per-view, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. At that pay-per-view, he puts John Cena in the Kimura lock. John Cena is screaming in agony, and he's screaming, and won't tap out. He absolutely refused to tap out. And you could do the same thing when you did with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart, and just have him pass out from the pain. Either that, or just after a while, after the match goes on and Brock Lesnar gets increasingly frustrated with the fact that John Cena won't stay down, so he begins ruthlessly pounding into him, and then the ref calls for the bell because Brock Lesnar is going too far. That would build up Brock that not only did he beat the top guy, he might have lost by disqualification, but the fact that he lost did not matter in that scenario. He beat John Cena so bad that John Cena almost couldn't stand. He could barely fight back. And he was pretty much the victim in the scenario. The top good guy in the company, the man who encompasses this man pretty much punched out Hulk Hogan, and that in itself, it will get him over immediately. John Cena being the Hulk Hogan of today's standards, that would get John Cena over immediately. Hulk Brock Lesnar. I don't know what's wrong with me. But it also would kind of give John Cena somewhat over, because people respect determination. They respect the tenacity. They respect that resolve, that I will not give up no matter what resolve. And there's a right and wrong way to go about doing it. The way that John Cena's been going about it for the past few years now is the wrong way. And what I mean by that is the problem with him is that he has no dents in the armor. And that takes away the humanity element, because we always feel that Super Cena, he's going to do whatever he wants, and he's not actually afraid like he keeps saying he is, because next week he's going to be fine. But the best way to do it, a determined, like, brazen, tough competitor who won't give up, you have him pushed to the very limit. You see the physical exhaustion, you see him getting tired, you see him getting worn out, and eventually that makes it all the more passionate, all the more great when we see them overcome the odds and win. Now again, John Cena wouldn't win, like, he wouldn't necessarily win like with Triple H versus Undertaker, the first match they had at WrestleMania. Well, the first of the matches that people actually kind of remember at WrestleMania. By the end of it, Triple H was able to walk away, and Undertaker had to be taken out by medics, I think. And that in itself explains why Undertaker felt that he didn't really win the match, because despite the fact that he won, the victory was hollow, because Triple H was still the last man standing. And that could be the same case here. Despite the fact that John Cena would be the one who won the match, he would not be the one getting over all that much. It will be Brock Lesnar, because he is the man still standing. He proved a point. And then you would transition from there. Maybe you would have him wrestle occasionally, small mini feuds. Oh, stop! Damn it! Excuse me. That was a video I was editing, if you heard it by any off chance. You would have it transition into something else, like mini feuds, and it would become a thing. Who can defeat Brock Lesnar? Who could possibly beat the Beast Incarnate, the man who beat the shit out of John Cena and CM Punk, two of the best talents in the company? Who in God's green earth could possibly beat this man? What do you do in that scenario? Well, I can't say. Who do you want to push? And that's when the scenario becomes at that point. Who do you want to push? Who do you want to push as the next big talent to beat Brock Lesnar? Because whoever beats Brock Lesnar or comes close to beating Brock Lesnar will get an immediate push. That becomes your new. That becomes the new streak. That becomes the new WrestleMania streak. And I don't mean that in literal terms. I mean that becomes the legendary streak. The who can do it. Who can pull it off? Whoever does this will be legendary type scenario. And that is pretty much the way I see it. I think that's all I really have to say. I'm a lot more passionate about this than I assumed I would be. But maybe it's because it's been lingering in my mind ever since Brock Lesnar's debuted. But I look forward to their match at SummerSlam. I legitimately do, because if Brock Lesnar doesn't win, I legitimately think that WWE is going too far with taking the safe route. Brock Lesnar needs to win at SummerSlam. This is the man who they let beat The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. He needs to win at SummerSlam, because that push from beating The Undertaker's winning streak needs to mean something. It needs to lead to something. And this could be the start of finally giving Brock Lesnar the credibility he needs. You would think that being the badass MMA fighter Brock Lesnar was enough, but the fact that you unintentionally undercut it by having him lose most of the matches since he's been back in the company. Do not let John Cena walk away the champion. If so, do not let him win cleanly. Maybe in a moment of desperation, John Cena had to do something just to make sure that Brock Lesnar didn't legitimately kill him. Or maybe just a DQ victory when Brock Lesnar won't stop beating the crap out of him because he's frustrated, as I suggested. It will be annoying, it'll be frustrating, but it would at least make sense. Do not let Cena win. Let Brock Lesnar become the new champion. This is what the company needs. So this has been Vince 12 signing out, and if you disagree with me, and if you have any suggestions of your own how Brock Lesnar could have been pushed, or you think he's been being pushed rather well, by all means let me know in the comments. And you all have a nice day.